Hey, it's John Inglesos here from the B2B School, and I'm going to walk you through a plan today that makes it extremely hard to fail on your path from as low as zero right through to $1 million plus in revenue per year. Now, if you're watching this video, it is likely because you are a member of what we call at the B2B School the B2B knowledge economy. And by that we mean you are someone who is selling their knowledge and expertise to other business owners. Now, maybe that makes you a consultant, a coach, or perhaps you're a creative or an agency owner, or you could even be a very successful business owner just looking to share your own knowledge for the very first time. Whatever it is, prospects come to you looking for your knowledge because, quite frankly, they are sick of trying to work it out on their own. So we're going to start now by mapping out the 3 phases of business when you are a knowledge professional. Now, as we map this out, I want you to pay close attention to where you think you might be at. Because as I go through this, not only will I be mapping out the different phases of the journey, but also the potholes, both large and small, that have a tendency to blow out your tires and crash your momentum before you've even had a chance to get ahead of them. So when it comes to selling your knowledge and expertise, there are typically 3 phases in your growth journey, and everyone, literally everyone, starts way down here at $0. Now, your job, of course, is to get as high up the ladder as possible, and I'm right there with you. It's worth noting that it took me about 7 years and 3 businesses to even make a cumulative $1 million. But then the 4th time, when I launched the B2B School with my business partner, James Tuckerman, I did it in less than 18 months with no team, no budget, and just 1 offer. But like I said, we all start at 0. Now, the goal at this point is to get to $10,000 a month as fast as humanly possible. Because at $10,000 a month, while it's not like you'll be living a life filled with endless luxury and 24/7 holidays, it's usually enough money to keep both your bills paid and for you to start taking this thing very seriously. Here's what I've learned though. The first goal of getting to 10K might be the fucking hardest nut to crack. Because typically at this level, 3 things are going to trip you up. First, it's likely that you don't actually have a real offer. You've probably identified that you've got a skill and you've got some great knowledge, and you might even have some demand for that knowledge. But as far as pulling together a proper offer, you're likely still stuck wondering how much you should be charging per hour, and that is no bueno in my world. Second, you probably don't have anyone to sell to. Supply without demand is naturally the simplest way to remain at $0 in the bank, and this is where getting leads becomes extremely important. And without people to sell to, well, it's kind of like running a kiosk on a deserted island. You're going to have no customers. Third, you don't have any authority and social proof. Now, when you hear me say this, you're probably thinking, well, duh, Johnny, of course I lack authority. I'm just getting started. But the reality is, even in the earliest days, authority can be engineered without being deceitful or fraudulent. And doing this properly will usually create the leads that you can then sell to. So at phase 1, the 3 themes are offer, leads, authority. So if the first goal was to blaze your way to 10K months, what's the second goal? Well, the next milestone is $50,000 a month. And believe it or not, getting there would put you within the top 1% of knowledge professionals around the world. But here's the critical things. The things that got you to $10,000 a month are not the things that will get you to $50,000 and beyond. Because at phase 1, you're naturally doing things that require more of your time, more dirt under your fingernails type of activities. And once you get a hair above $10,000 per month, you're just not going to have time to do that kind of stuff anymore. The returns diminish quickly. So to break through past $50,000 per month, you got to get past what we like to call the hustle ceiling and begin to really systemize things. What we say at the B2B School is systems equals sanity. So what trips you up at this level? Well, it's actually the same 3 themes, but with different layers of problem. Number 1, your offer needs leverage. The offer that won you your very first few clients was great, but it was built around your time, not your value. To scale past 50K, you got to shift the emphasis. It's less time, it's more about the outcomes. You got to start to productize what it is that you are selling. 2, you need a lead system, not just leads. You have to go from a handful of leads to building something manageable and repeatable, a system that generates consistent lead flow so you can move away from the feast or famine cycle that drives most knowledge businesses insane. The question you got to be asking yourself is, how do I 10 times my lead flow without 10 timesing my time input? Third, you have to get B2B famous. It's about becoming very clearly and very obviously the most logical choice for your clients when they need an expert like you. At this level, you're not engineering authority from scratch anymore. You should be building strategies designed to make you known for the thing that you want to be known for. So once again, it comes down to offer, leads, authority. It's the same themes, but a completely different game. And what's the last rung on the ladder? Well, this is where you go from 50K a month to 100K, 500K, $1 million months, firmly into that multi-million dollar territory. And the only way to get there is by cracking what makes a knowledge business truly scale. The theme here is automation equals freedom. Now, here's a good reminder while we're here. A business is not meant to cost you time. It is meant to win you back time. Because otherwise, you just created for yourself a very risky, very volatile set of 100-pound shackles. And I'm sure some people watching this right now probably feel exactly like this. So if you want to scale past 100K into the multi-million dollar revenue territory, what are your obstacles? Well, number one, your offer now needs to work without you. At this level, your knowledge has to be packaged into assets, IP, frameworks, systems that deliver value whether or not you're in the room. The expert should not be the bottleneck anymore. Two, your lead generation now needs to run entirely on autopilot. You've probably already got a system at this point, but it needs to scale. That means automation, paid channels, compounding content assets that keep filling the pipeline without your constant involvement. Three, your authority needs to precede you. At this level, you shouldn't just be well known in your niche. You should be the category, your name, your frameworks, your methodologies. That's what people should be referencing. That kind of authority doesn't happen overnight. It's engineered and it compounds. So here's what I want you to notice. From 0 to 10K, from 10 to 50, from 50 to 1 million and beyond. The themes don't change. It is always going to be about your offer, your leads, and your authority. What does change completely and dramatically are the strategies and tactics you use to address each one. The tactics that got you from 0 to 10 will not get you into that 1% territory. The tactics that get you from 50K will not get you to scale. But the framework is the same at every level, which brings me to what my business partner James and I call the product you flywheel. So let's break it down. First, let's talk about authority and positioning. This is about positioning you as the obvious go-to choice in your space, someone who is famous to their target audience. Because we're not talking about a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson type of fame, but when you're B2B famous, future clients understand what you do, who you're for, and why they should talk to you before they even book a meeting. This is typically the first thing you need to get right. The second part of our flywheel is the lead generation piece. And let me emphasize the word predictable. A business cannot grow on hustle and referrals alone. Predictable lead generation means you have reliable ways to bring in the right people into your world, to book meetings consistently, to sign new clients consistently without the constant manual effort. When you hear people talking about lead channels, lead magnets, funnels, and the like, what they're really saying is the system to get leads on repeat. And then finally, and I believe this is the most important part, we have the frictionless offers piece, which is all about faster sales. I wrote a book entirely on this topic because it is extremely misunderstood. Most sales are slow because the offer is unclear or feels risky. They are overcooked and bespoke, which causes friction. When the offer is simple and standardized, sales cycles shorten and conversations close faster. You are then also able to outsource sales. Ultimately, this flywheel is about generating more predictable income, making sales more effortless, and giving you both scale and legacy. All three of these things together make it bloody hard for you to fail. See, what I want for you is to be like Dave. Dave had a quick back and forth on a Wednesday, one conversation, one new idea about how he should structure his offer. And on a Thursday, the next day, he got on 2 sales calls, closed both of them, and increased his prices by 275%. Or Dean got on a call, walked away with a framework perfectly mapped to his business, and used it that same afternoon. 3 days later, he got the email, let's do it. Not only did that increase the average order value, it cut his entire sales cycle by 3 weeks. Or Steve told us that he was already very good at the technical side. He didn't need help there, but his first lead capture campaign, 139 leads, 43.57% conversion rate. His words, that was insane. Or Mark, who finally stopped trying to fix his website. He'd been tweaking and adjusting it and optimizing it for months and nothing moved. So he stopped. He built the sequence of pages we showed him instead, and now he's totally crushing it. Or maybe you want to be like Kath, who took a whole new model onto LinkedIn. Now she's closing on the first conversation. She just had her best month ever. She signed her first international client. Borders have become meaningless. Her potential client base, it's exploded. Or maybe you want to be like Louise. Get the idea, right? Who has 5 new leads in a single week. People who opted in, got her lead magnet, booked her meetings. In other words, I didn't even need to do a thing, because her follow-up was already running, automated, while she wasn't there. And then there's Steven. Steven took a few of our strategies and applied them to what he was already doing with ads. His business lifted 70%. It's worth over $1 million in revenue. In his words, I can't keep up with the demand. Now, before I tell you how to take the next step, I want to speak directly to 3 types of people, because if any of these sound like you, this is exactly where you're supposed to be. The trapped expert is number one. It's the type of person who has already built a business. Maybe you've built it and you are the lead expert. Clients rely on you. Work produces results. You are taking money. But the business depends heavily on your time. You're the rainmaker, but you're also the outcome deliverer. Businesses cannot span faster than your availability or your goals, or even your mood on the day. You as the expert are the bottleneck, and deep down you know it. Or maybe you're the proven builder. You built something meaningful, a company, a system, you've got a track record, but it's mostly locked in your head. And over time, people have started asking how you did it. They want to learn your methods, but giving ad hoc advice to individuals isn't scalable. And frankly, it's a bit selfish. You owe it to yourself and to your industry to turn what you know into intellectual property, assets that you can sell. That's how you create legacy. Or lastly, maybe you're the new authority. You spent years developing expertise, deep expertise in a particular field, but now it's time to step forward, build a profile, and create an actual business around that knowledge that you have. You just don't know what you don't know yet, how to price it, how to find clients, or where to start. And you'd probably rather not waste 18 months figuring it out the hard way like most wannabe coaches and consultants do. These are three very different situations, but they are all chasing the same outcome, a business that runs on your terms, a business that rewards you with time and income and does not need you to be everywhere all at once. So here's where we land. If what I've walked you through today has clicked for you, if you can see yourself somewhere on that ladder, and if you recognize the three themes that keep showing up at every level, and if you're serious about building something that gives you real time and income leverage, then the next step is simple. I want you to go to b2bschool.co/apply and spend less than 2 minutes filling out the form. Our team will then look at where you're at and which level of the ladder makes the most sense for you and what the most logical next step is going to look like. So hit that form, spend 2 minutes, and I'll see you on the other side. Take care.